Naive is where you assume good intent on other people's parts as a kind of default. You assume that what people are saying is generally what they believe, and that other people's interior experience is probably a lot like yours, and that where fucked up things are happening is probably mostly because of mistakes and things like that. And if you interact with the world, and particularly systems of power enough, that will become destroyed in you, right? And then the naivete will crash upon the rocks of reality, and then you'll move into a cynical place where you realize how much ladder climbing, how much of virtue is virtue signaling, how much of communication as a whole is strategic, where someone is saying something for the effect they want it to have, not just for what they maximally believe. How much of the epistemic commons is the result of everyone's agentic desire to make other people believe stuff rather than just what is true. So you read Machiavelli and you get a good description of the cynical, and that type of court dynamic is actually playing out. And typically, around any center of power, there's something like court dynamics. Around any very wealthy person, you watch in their social circle, and there's something like court dynamics.
Yes, we've all seen it. We see it at CDC, we see it at FDA, we see it at every big institution.
And so then you end up getting situations where whoever is in the position of most power will get a distortion bubble of the type of feedback they get because people want something from them. So there are certain types of disagreements that won't happen. So then you'll get the propagation of their own biases and other people confirming it and all kind of nonsense like that. And if you want an introduction to how to think cynically, the 48 Laws of Power is probably the best. You know you're in the cynical if you say something like, if you don't know who the sucker in the room is, it's you.
Yeah.
Because you assume that the game of power is happening everywhere. There is some suckers, they're getting taken advantage of, etc.
Yeah.
I think the key is that there is such a thing as post-cynical. And the cynical would say the only thing that is not cynical is naive. Because typically things don't even have an awareness of a developmental stage that is beyond them, right? So that's where you get the mistake.
Blindness, yeah.
The post-cynical says it is possible to authentically care about something more than just self-interest in a way that you're actually willing to make real sacrifice for, and that there are other people who also can, and that authentic relationships of trust can be formed. So I couldn't be post-cynical if I didn't believe that there were other people that could be post-cynical.